Hey, what's up, party people? Welcome to another action-packed week of SJU. Oh, the action we're going to have this week. You have no idea, and neither do I, because we're talking about current news, of which there is some. For example, over the weekend, Disney said that they are absolutely dumping Turning Red onto their has-been second-rate streaming service, Disney Plus. They are hiding it. They are so ashamed of this film, but it does raise some good questions of why are all the Pixar movies going straight to Disney Plus while the Disney animation ones get the real theatrical experience. We'll also check in on The Rock as we do every Monday. And Batfleck as we do every other Monday, because they are either in or out of their respective series moving forward. We're going to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio or Leonardo DiCaprio, depending on what you prefer, because he's had a tree named after him, and we want to celebrate that.
Okay, good. It's about time that guy got some recognition. Am I right?
Too
long.
He needs a little
Society
more.
Has shunned Leonardo DiCaprio.
Maybe I'll tell my Leonardo DiCaprio story. We'll see. You'll have to stick around.
I hear that.
We'll also give a fond farewell to Bob Saget, who we lost last night, tragically. And Eric will give us his version of The Aristocrats to celebrate.
Then we just watched Saget's version of that like a minute before I sign on with you guys.
I think he'd appreciate it. And then the live chat, keep them coming in the chat. Questions, we will pepper them in throughout the show and maybe answer some big fan questions at the end. If any bubble to the top, that's up to Ryan. All right, we begin with Disney and Pixar. Turning Red, a film that is one of my most anticipated of the year, is something I'm not going to have to leave the house for. March 11th, it's coming straight to Disney Plus. This is like one of my other favorite films last year, Soul, and Luca, which did not get the theatrical treatment. However, their parent company, parent company? I don't know, it's confusing.
You can say parent.
Yeah. The Walt Disney Animation Studios, they got the full buffet of viewing options. Raya and the Last Dragon was a hybrid release, came out in theaters, and then Disney Plus with the premiere, $30 access, and then Encanto was got a 31-day theatrical window. Obviously, COVID's a thing. COVID's happening. Things are getting shuffled around live. As
COVID is hip. It's now.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's very this moment. Yeah,
yeah. And that's throwing all the schedules into disarray. But is this just a coincidence? Why does every Pixar release get bumped straight to Disney Plus, but they seem to do everything in their power to give Disney animation films like a good, solid theatrical chance? Are we reading into things, or is this just bad timing with the different variants?
3 in a row is tough. I feel like with Soul and then Luca, you could still be like, look, it's just the timing and this variant and that thing. But now that we're talking about 3 in a row and they're saying this, it's like we're still a couple months away. Like we don't even know what the Omicron Persei 8 situation is going to look like in March. It does sort of feel like they're much more willing to just dump a Pixar movie onto Disney Plus and be done with it than with the stuff that they made at Walt Disney Animation, which is getting a little bit more care in terms of the release.
But why? I mean, they cost, I imagine, around the same amount. Maybe someone fact check me on that.
I don't know. That I couldn't tell you.
And they, I was going to say, oh, well, it makes sense if it's like Pixar's doing these like original things that aren't part of a franchise, but neither is Disney Animated Studios. Like Encanto's not part of a franchise, except for like Lin-Manuel Miranda slowly taking over all of pop culture.
I mean, I don't know. Is it my one thought is that it's some network externality we're not thinking about, like that they've put a lot more merchandising thought into the Disney movies than the Pixar movies. So they need those to get more of like a pop culture moment so that they can sell Encanto toys for the next few years.
I don't know. Just going off the trailer, Turning Red seems like it was designed in a lab to sell plushies.
Stuffed animals.
I agree. Like I'm purely guessing here because it does not make a lot of sense to me. And it was not very long ago where Pixar was the prestige brand. Like Disney Animation was kind of the up and comer, and Pixar was everything they release is just like a huge hit. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's a rational like, oh, these movies aren't going to make as much as these movies because they're Pixar movies. They're great. Everybody loves them.
It's really weird, right? Because it's like, I mean, yes, of course, like as you were inferring, Spencer, it's like Disney Plus is very important to that corporation. We understand that. And so it's not like they're burying these movies. They're still going to promote them a lot, and they want it to be on Disney Plus. Sure. It's a bright, shiny thing. But there's still a weird optics here just because 3 in a row, like you said, Lon. And I am surprised they didn't wait because while I'm sure this turning red move happened at all because of Omicron and everything, it just seems like, well, maybe wait a month and see what you want to do. And also, because we hear not shockingly, and I think even a couple Pixar people have dared to tweet about it, it kind of has hurt morale at the company. So because it now feels like a thing, right? Like it just keeps being this strange thing that they're sort of singling them out.
And also, if you're at Pixar, you've got to be concerned that like this is going to impact future budgets and future plans and future strategies. Like they just don't have box office to show for their last 3 releases. So the next time Disney is planning, like, what kind of budget are we going to put behind this Pixar thing? Like it's making them less competitive in a way that they can't control.
Yeah.
And Onward, by the way, whatever you think of Onward opened March 7th, 2020, right as it was like, oh crap, this is a real scary thing. So it's hard to say like, oh, well, Onward's opening was pretty weak for Pixar while like the sky was falling.
That was like the last thing I remember before packing up my bags and moving back home.
They're really stuck in my mind because the Vista, the big movie theater right up the street from me, which is still not reopened, it had Onward on the marquee through like June. Like they just didn't change the marquee for forever. It was just Onward playing in perpetuity as the world shut down.
I live near a theater that still says Star Wars 9 and Ford versus Ferrari on its marquee. So.
Looking forward to that one.
Brahms the Boy 2 is still playing there. So.
It's like now on Paramount Plus. Check it.
We have to go back. There is, however, we all, I think, would place money on Lightyear getting a theatrical release, right? Like that's too big to fail, or no? Or is this will that be the one that tips you one way or another, whether this is to stay or not?
I'd be shocked if Lightyear doesn't open in theater. I mean, unless it really is like the air is poisoned, no one can go outside. I feel like Lightyear is going to open in theaters.
Same here, but that's if you're at Pixar, that's still gonna like hurt, right? Because you're like, well, yeah, you give the movie that's a spinoff of Toy Story the theatrical release, but you're not going to try anything original we're doing. So yeah, that's why, look, I mean, everyone's talking about right now, it is tough for theaters and it seems like only the big franchises are succeeding. So yeah, it does seem like Lightyear, they'll probably save that, but it still doesn't kind of change things for Pixar, I'm sure, both on the public and company perception of this. So yeah, I'm just surprised that
it's weird. And it's because it's not like these movies. I mean, there's no way that they could have predicted where these films would be released, since they start them 2-3 years ahead of time. But like there's nothing any more or less cinematic about Raya or Encanto than Turning Red or Soul or to me. Like they were intended for a big screen. Ben Zaiten writes Soul truly deserved a cinematic release. I so regret to not have been able to watch and listen to this on the big screen. I mean, this isn't a thing where like they'll do like a makeup theatrical window after the fact, right? Like that's not going to happen.
I think if the pandemic had been a few months, then yes, probably afterwards we would have been like, let's give people a chance to see Vin Diesel's Bloodshot on the biggest screen possible. But I think now it's just been so long. There'd be so many movies we have to like catch up on, like only the classics, like the big stuff that people love that's come out over the last 2 years maybe will come back, but otherwise I don't see it happening.
Or like super specific, like look, I saw Luca in the theater because it played at the El Capitan, which is a Disney owned theater, has the only theater in the world that didn't have Disney Plus playing it, and I think they did show Soul there for a couple days in the fall.
Like there were a few Soul screenings around LA.
But that's like pretty privileged to like, they don't do that across the country or across the world. So
unless you're in New York or LA, you don't have access to stuff like that.
So Reynard City Update Channel brings something up that I want to get into because it could provide an explanation. He's just throwing out there the John Lasseter situation, which is he got Me Too'd, I imagine. That's what it had to
be. Many allegations about all sorts of things relating to creating an unpleasant and hostile work environment.
And he was the head of Pixar at the time that it was
and acquired. Disney Animation, right? I mean, didn't they take him? Yeah, he was running both.
He was heading both. Yeah.
Right. So there, it could be. He thinks it could be a unconscious thing, which I think is probably part of the explanation. That the head of Pixar, the guy who probably created the Disney Pixar culture and then was ignominiously dismissed, and he's been replaced with I looked into it, the current head of Disney Animation is Clark Spencer, no relation. That's not how names work anyways.
No.
But he's a Disney guy through and through. Like he got his start with Lilo and Stitch. Like he has always been on the Disney side of the divide. Lilo and Stitch, Meet the Robinsons, Bolt, Princess and the Frog, Tangled.
Oh yeah.
Like he came from that side of it, and he's now running Disney Animation Studios. And of course, the Pixar guy who runs Pixar, James Morris, is he started with Wall-E. So whoever has the power in this situation, which is the person running Disney Animation, is probably, has the ear of one of the Bobs, Bob Chapek or whatever.
There's only one Bob
he's
left.
The key
now.
Bob. Yeah. Iger's the past Bob.
And he probably can fight more internally to get a theatrical release than whoever's running Pixar in the dismissal of John Lasseter.
I mean, that I don't know if it's necessarily tied to the Lasseter thing specifically, but that sounds true. That it's like that there's just a favoritism in the corporate structure towards Disney Animation. I think almost seems undeniable.
Yeah. I think I don't think it's any like public embarrassment or anything like that. Honestly, most of the public probably isn't even aware of that. But they did take Lasseter's job and split it because he was running both, and then they hired different people. And so it could even be something like that. Just now, two different people were reporting where there was one, and someone might have a little more sway, and it can change everything.
Yep. Ryan has a good question, then we'll move on. Is a successful Disney animation movie more valuable to the company than a successful Pixar movie? Like if both are big hits, do they both bring the same amount of, brand notoriety, or is it all
outright?
Yeah, because they bought them like circa 2000. It was Iger's first "I'm gonna buy all the companies" move.
I mean, in like a capital B, put it on the chalkboard brand way. Like if I'm an executive, am I arguing that a Moana is still more valuable than a Inside Out?
Well, that's kind of what I was saying. Is that
leaves in your head?
I think it might go project to project. They might have like, here's what sales estimates we can do with this title versus that title, and that might have something to do with it. So they're calculating like, we bet we could make this much on Turning Red plushes, but we can make even more with Encanto Dream Casitas, or I don't know.
I mean, who knows? Yeah, like Brave is the only movie Pixar has made that they've managed to get a Disney princess out of. Like,
right, and it could be theme park stuff like that. Like they've already got the Encanto dark ride in production and development or whatever. Like I feel like there might be something that we're not even thinking about because we're not looking at the 5-year calendar,
right?
And like
Encanto on the.
Yeah, that's
the
my
Soul
that's my
Jazz
guess.
Club and Existential Crisis.
Or it's even like we got to keep Lin-Manuel Miranda happy so that he comes back and writes these 3 more movies we want him to work. Like it could be even something like that we just don't know about.
Yeah, interesting. We need like a masked Disney executive to interview it. Like we can just put the Mickey Mouse filter over their face and get the real deal. Yeah. But thank you for watching. Keep your mouse ears to the streets and let us know if you have any conspiracy theories for why the big D is squishing the big P under its mighty grip. So we now have a bunch of little bits and pieces of news that we want to run through real quick. Are we even talking about the Golden Globes? I forgot that happened, right? In like a press release.
They announced them in a dark room and then sent some bad tweets.
How far they've fallen that it's been cut from SJU. That really tells.
That's the lowest. That's the worst. Yeah.
I just want to mention.
Well, we got to talk about the tree.
Yeah, you mentioned the bad tweet, Flana, and just the amazingness of they have musical and comedy as one category, but the person who tweeted something what is it about movies make us laugh.
They say laughter is the best medicine. So West Side Story is great for what else? It's like
you never saw that movie.
A bunch of people die, like a bunch of main characters.
That is funny though. I mean, it's
sort of tragic, really.
Their social guy has like a really dark sense of humor. So.
It is,
but then they changed it. The best part is they deleted that when everybody made fun of them, and then they repasted like they say music is the medicine for what ails you. It's like they don't actually say that. That's not the expression.
It's lost in translation, but I would say though that this did give a window into what a less overtly corrupt Golden Globes might look like, because they couldn't do the whole song and dance with the lunches and stuff like that when you end up like best show of the year, Mozart in the Jungle once again.
Yeah.
Those out of nowhere wins that seem to be the result of something else. Just go watch Denzel Washington's old speech on the Golden Globes. You'll see how it works.
They did. I will say they were the only award show that I could think of that actually honored that Underground Railroad series that Barry Jenkins did for Amazon, which really was
super good.
One of the best things I saw on TV all last year. So good for them for singling out Underground Railroad when like nobody else did.
Yeah. All right, forget the Globes. They're yesterday's news. They're old.
They're dead to me.
They're dead to me. Let's talk about Batfleck. So Ben Affleck, these are two separate news stories that we're combining because we're just going to raise a corona to both of them. Ben Affleck and The Rock have confirmed they have no future plans to return to their roles as either Batman or Hobbs in Fast and Furious or Batman movies. God, I want Hobbs to be in Batman and Batman to be in Fast and Furious now.
That's what I was picturing. It's like Hobbs is a Batman villain.
Yeah, or is like Commissioner Gordon's like right-hand man who's getting the job done better than Batman. He gets jealous. Right. I don't know. There's a whole
stay the F out of my way.
Yeah, stay out of my way, Bat. There's no surprise here. Do we still think there's a possibility that the Hobbs thing is a what's the wrestling term? Is a work? A work.
I'm lesser now because he very specifically. Look, we all had a lot of fun with Vin Diesel's like. You got to do it. You got his Instagram post.
Yeah, like bringing up Paul Walker, bringing up the man's
he brought
children,
that up.
like making it real personal.
He was like, look, he and I had a personal talk about this, and I told him why he wasn't going to come back, and then he did this Instagram post. I'm like, I think he's being real here. That it's like he doesn't want to work with this guy. He really, really doesn't want to work with this guy again.
Fair. And then Batman, we know he will be back in The Flash, but it makes it seem like that will be it. It'll be like, look at this timeline. Oh, and it's gone.
He literally describes making Justice League as like the worst experience of his life. Does not sound like it's an environment he's keen to return to.
No.
And he talked about how like he, had no passion to direct the Batman movie and dropped out of it. All of which is to say, people, please stop asking for him to come back as Batman when he doesn't want to do it. It's like it's a very Annie Wilkes situation now, where it's like, oh no, Affleck's got to come back. It's like, but he doesn't want to. I think he's very done. And he said The Flash was a fun experience, but it's farewell. We
also have a surplus of Batmen at the current moment. We've got more Batmen than we really know what to do with. Because we got Keaton waiting in the wings to reprise his role. We got Pattinson on the eve of his debut. It's like we're fine.
Inflation it's out of control. Right, we got all these Batman, we got all these Spider-Man running around.
Yeah, we're seeing exponential superhero growth, and it's like
printing
it's
too
much,
many of them.
Honestly. Yeah, you start pruning some of these Bat and Spider-Men.
Speaking of pruning,
we should mention. Brian mentioned in the chat that The Rock keeps saying he's up for a Hobbs and Shaw sequel, but he does not want to be in a Fast and Furious movie. I think they should text each other in the respective sequels, like we just see like. Him saying like, "Dear Dog."
You could get a text message from Hobbs. That would be great. Maybe a GIF for the right amount of money.
Some emojis,
I just want to say my segue one more time. Speaking of pruning, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sorry.
According to Slash Film, the very serious scientists at the Royal Botanic Gardens of Kew in London have officially named a species of tree after the actor in honor of his activism. He has been a lifelong activist for environmental causes.
Sure.
I remember him narrating all sorts of IMAX films about trees and stars.
Yeah,
and
there's
stuff
like 3 a year about how we're running out of water that he's narrating.
So we all need to get clippings for our various Zoom walls of Euphoriopsis DiCaprio, which is not his failed cousin, Euphoriopsis, who got left in the old country. It is a tree.
It needs not only sunlight and water, but quaaludes.
And models. Yeah, the critically endangered tree found in Africa's Cameroon forest is a member of the Lang Lang family of small tropical evergreens. Dr. Martin Cheek, you cheeky doctors over there, told the BBC that the team believed the actor was crucial in helping to stop the logging of the Igbo forest. There were plans for the areas of that forest to be open for logging, which caused international experts to write to the government, listing out all the plants and animals that would be in harm of extinction. And instead of the government coming to their aid, Leonardo DiCaprio put on his cape, although he's never done a superhero film, and came to the rescue, providing heightened attention with a post on his social media. So
it's just nice when he wins something without having to eat like a raw bison liver. Like, I'm glad that he got this and he just didn't have to do anything extreme.
Do you think him and his bros go out and they're called like the planting posse?
Yes, they're now called the planting posse.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The woodsy posse.
Do you think that they'll ever find like a Groot-looking plant and call it Vintrezel? Or will he ever get one?
It would not be Vintrezel. It'd be like Vindiferous Deselium or something.
I want that because he'll make like an amazing Instagram post about it, right?
God, that would be iconic. Just let
should we do if this celebrity was a tree, what kind of tree would it be? Or actually, Fox, if you can find just pictures of trees,
I don't know.
We'll tell you what celebrity it reminds us.
I really don't know.
We want to put some prep into that. Let's save that so we can
We'll save that game time.
I'm really gonna reveal my lack of knowledge of the different types of trees. Can't identify a tree. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. We'll do this before we move on to fan questions. We lost Bob Saget over the weekend, which sucks. I think we can all agree sucked. A real shock, a real surprise. I know I gasped when I looked at my phone.
Yeah, I think the kids might not appreciate. Like, if you're a certain age, he was a fixture on TV. Like, he was on multiple shows. They were huge shows. Everybody was watching network TV at this time. Like, it's hard to even really think of like a modern day person who's like that central in pop culture. Even if he wasn't your favorite, he was just always on. He was just a constant presence. Yeah.
Yep. And obviously had this duality of being, America's dad in the sitcom world, and then just a absolute vile, foul-mouthed comedian off that, which was always fun. It was always
well, it's a great discovery moment, right? Because we all knew whether you loved his family shows or you thought they were dreck, you still had a perception of him. And then you'd be introduced to his stand-up and go, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's like a 90s kid rite of passage when you figured out Bob Saget was like a really filthy comedian.
So we'll drop some F-bombs in his honor throughout the week. Just know every time we accidentally say the F word, that's in honor of Bob Saget.
We were mentioning right before we started recording that he's in the documentary The Aristocrats, which is every comedian telling their version of the filthiest joke ever. And guess what? His may be the filthiest in that movie. I remember seeing that movie with a Q&A after with he wasn't there, but Paul Provenza, who directed it, was there. And he told a story about Bob Saget I can't repeat on this show, but was just Bob Saget being funny as hell in the most vile way possible. But everyone is also like, I'm the nicest guy. So it was a nice...
that was one thing I didn't even realize is he was like every comedian's favorite comedian. Like, the outpouring of love from other comics for him yesterday was like really incredible.
And you know that as much as he must have rolled his eyes at Full House scripts, like, the cast loved him. He was really, really good with the kids. They all felt great. They had really warm feelings about him. So it was like, it just seemed like what a good guy and an amazingly dirty comedian. It's a good combo.
Yeah. Well, we'll add our voices to that chorus.
I would also say, I was saying this on Twitter too, he also directed a few films, including the Norm Macdonald comedy Dirty Work, which is on HBO Max right now. And if you have not seen it, is very, very fun.
I have not seen it, and I'm going to watch it.
Oh my god, it is a classic, and it also features great, hilarious stuff from the late Chris Farley and the late Don Rickles. So it's just like a real treasure trove of these like hilarious people that we've lost.
It's a stacked cast. So note to self: remember to get ass wart cream for a giant wart on my ass. You'll get that later once you watch it. I just want to quote Dirty Work now for the rest of the show, but no, let's move on. We got some good fan questions. Raynard City poking their head in once again to ask, what animal would you turn into during moments of distress? I guess that's a Turning Red reference, right?
Okay, I do. Okay, that is correct.
So you're stressed. They backed you into a corner, and you turn into I
feel like, for me, it would be like a bear, but not an intimidating, like a Pooh Bear type bear, like a small, non-threatening bear, like not a red panda, but maybe a conventional panda. Yeah,
I'm
just
stuck
like,
in this job, honey.
like the kind of bear that you could imagine like might be wearing a straw hat theoretically, like or a collar and a necktie yogi style.
I'll go with the armadillo. I don't know if I'm actually in physical duress in this imagined scenario, but if I am, I got some good armored shell, and if I need to get somewhere, I can roll up and do a little ball. Yeah, armadillo seems like there's a lot of practicality and defensiveness there that I'll take on.
That's pretty solid. Yeah, I'll just go with I got a badger as my patronus, so I think I'll turn into a feisty badger.
A honey badger or a conventional?
Just a conventional badger.
Okay,
yeah, I can't claim honey badger. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Did anyone watch the Dexter New Blood finale? Eric did. So Ruin Robinson asked, what did y'all think? I liked the ending and I don't get the hate. Is it getting hated on again for the ending?
It's getting hated on. I think I will not, I'll dodge spoilers here and just say, I think a lot of us were, I think unequivocally, it's a better finale than we got a few years ago with that season 8 finale. And I think the people who don't like it probably like have a hero worship of an anti-hero you're not supposed to have. This comes up with every show about an anti-hero where it's like there's a certain sect of the audience that is like, but he's awesome. And it's like, but the show has to like be like, but maybe he's not. And I don't know. It's just, you know how the ending of the first season of Dexter is that great. He's got that sort of daydream that everyone's cheering for him.
Yeah.
I feel like some people actually want that to be the ending of a Dexter season. Like it really happened. But I think most people I've talked to were very happy with this, or if not very happy, just felt like that was much more satisfying. So I liked it. I thought it was so much better than season 8. Just the whole season in general felt better. The change of setting was better. So I endorse Dexter New Blood as someone who was so sad with how bad it got the original show by the end.
There you go. Sweet. I'm glad to hear that they sort of stuck the landing this time, more so than the universal hatred that the last one was met with.
Well, it's just a weird thing, right? Because the guy who ran the first 4 seasons left after season 4. The show went to shit, and now he came back to do this miniseries, and he couldn't ignore all the bad stuff. But I think they did the best they could, kind of integrating it all.
The show never recovered from the fact that it should have just been done after that season. The season 4 finale is perfect, the exact right send off for that character. There was like nothing left to do. There's no reason to keep. I mean, obviously, they wanted 4 more seasons, but narratively, there was no reason you needed to keep going.
But TV is an unquenchable beast, and we have to keep shoveling coal into that furnace until it literally explodes. But maybe a softer landing this time. We'll end with this one, and let's just make it a betting situation because I want to develop a gambling problem this year. That's my resolution. Matan Valensky asks, after Jim, first name basis with James Cameron, kept talking about it in December, how long until we see an Avatar 2 trailer? I just want to see what the wait was for. So let's take bets. We'll go closest to the date of when we will get the first Avatar 2 trailer. It comes out at the end of the year, December, I think. Yep. But he's been sharing set photos and talking it up for years, obviously. When do you think we see the first trailer? I'm going to say June 1st.
Yeah, I was going to say something like July 4th or something, but I would like to stress, I feel like that will be a teaser, not a real
teaser. Yes, I'm talking like first footage.
Right.
We
won't get a trailer until the fall, but we'll get like over the summer sometime, probably either I would say mid-June or mid-July or early July. We'll get, like just shots of Pandora, maybe a little bit of like 1 or 2 of the characters, quick glimpses, just to give us a little taste.
Yeah, my only thing, I guess, at this point is they're going to have the first teaser either with Doctor Strange or Thor. And on your guess, Lon, Thor Love and Thunder opens July 8th. So that would work if the trailer like came online July 6th.
Wow, that sounds very right to me. That sounds very right.
Yeah. And so there's a small part of me that's like maybe the start of May for Doctor Strange, but I think it's more likely what you say, Lon, that it's like, we get that trailer at the start of July.
Okay, so
I'm seeing like we're there's a cliff, some clouds part. We see that it's definitely like an alien sort of environment. Then we get like a close up of like a crazy Pandora animal. Maybe there's like the foot of a Navi that we like start to track up, and like we're gonna get those.
Yeah, we just get a little bit of the ponytail, and then we plunge under the water, and it says Avatar 2 into the blue or whatever the subtitle's gonna be. Well, I said June 1st. Lon, I think your most specific you got was July 4th, and Eric July 6th. So we'll see.
Price is writing me. His Price is writing me.
Yeah, exactly. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. We made something today that you enjoyed, hopefully. We'll be back tomorrow for Australia commentators, then more SJU throughout the week. Thanks again. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Taco.